Hello, my name is Sanjay, and this is my evaluation for Unit 33 Fiction Film. So basically, as this being the final project of the year, it was a big one. So we kicked it off with a simple kind of brainstorming task where we were given a series of newspapers and we had to look through them and pick out stories that we would like to maybe turn into a film of some sort. It was a very helpful task to do, and it allowed us to, get the creative juices flowing and get a better understanding of what we need to do. So basically, the final project was to create, develop, and direct a short film that was no longer than 15 minutes on anything you wanted it to do, wanted it to be really. So it could have been a thriller, an action, or whatever you wanted it to be really. What I did was for pre-production, we had to do a couple of things. We had to develop the script, which I'll come on to later, and during the ideas. So basically, what I did was I did a mind map of the ideas I wanted from that first task that we did. So I went for the spy, or I kind of had some ideas that went with like conspiracy theories or spies, like there's rogue spies or something, and I had a couple of ideas, but then I kind of settled with kind of like a sleeper agent or some sort of an agent gone rogue or something went horribly wrong, and it's just become a massive problem for the agency. And I went with sort of like an MI6 because MI6, James Bond, all that kind of jazz. So after I'd done that, it was time to develop a script, which I've done before in the past, but this one was just on a different level. So the first attempt that I did, it was a really wordy script, and I'm talking word heavy, and with that, with a spy thriller, well, Neil said as a spy thriller, that's just giving away way too much of the story, and it's just really inconvenient, and it's just not gonna benefit whatsoever. So what I had to do was obviously, go through the first script and had to trim it down a lot, like take it to the gym, trim it down massively just to make it a bit more structured, because at that point I wasn't quite sure of how I wanted the story to go. I was really struggling to find a solid structure for the story, and it was going one way or another. I had one idea and it kind of fall through, and try another one, didn't quite make sense. It just wasn't kind of clicking together at any point, even with all the trimming down. So my script started getting a bit of a problem. I was getting frustrated. I couldn't pinpoint a proper structure for the story. And after a couple more reading through the script or redoing it, I kind of got a structure going of some sort that I was kind of going with. I kind of got the flow got a gist of what I wanted to achieve. So after doing that, it came to the characters, and characters wise, I kind of looked into like your typical James Bond or your Mission Impossible kind of things, to kind of those characters, see how they would work in that kind of environment. And I wanted to have like the not wise old man, but the elder character, the kind of wise old head, and then you have the slightly hot-headed, kind of recently the hot-headed, youngish kind of director, or someone who has authority but is constantly under the power. And I wanted to go with a female lead. It just instantly came to me. I have a female lead instead of a male. I just thought female is a bit more diverse and a bit more interesting to navigate with. So after doing that, we had to pitch the idea as a professional. Having to say what we wanted, if we could do it in real life, with a budget, who would we have to act in it. And I went for I think I went for like Benedict Cumberbatch, Idris Elba, Emily Clark from Game of Thrones. That's just a base character for I wanted, and Ralph Fiennes as well. So after all that, when it came to production, that's when I kind of started getting a bit off, because we had to get actors, and that was a big problem. Well, not a big, but it's just not having someone solid to actually start shooting at a reasonable time. So it took me quite a while. I didn't actually. Well, it took me a while to find actors who would be able. So I went on my works group chat and just asked them if anyone knew anyone who could act, and I got a response back, so that's pretty good. So then I kept in contact with the client, the actress, um, and it was going fine. It was very limited contact, not limited, but it was enough. But then on the day that I wanted to shoot, she couldn't do it because she had deadlines to do, so she couldn't come in. So I was like, okay. So this is before, the week before, I think. And then Brendan said, I can go ask this girl from another classical sofa. I was like, okay. I went, she was available to do that day. So that was great. But then hit a problem. It was half term, so I had to spend a week just trying to plan. And after half term, Sophie and Alex, who volunteered to help out, who was a legend, we just smashed the whole script out in a couple of hours, just getting it all done, acting it out. I set up the equipment. Even prior to that, I did some test shows just to help me out a little bit, so that I wasn't gonna go there not knowing what I was doing. Because without doing those test shots, I would have been there for even much longer. So I wouldn't know how to place the lighting to light the room, give it that kind of authentic interrogation scene, I would say, and where the camera placement is and the microphone. Because without that, I would have wasted just too much time having to try and develop a decent looking shot on the camera. So after that, after done all the shooting, which went really well, surprisingly, I thought it'd take even longer than that. I went to edit. So editing was simple. It was just a matter of just getting the footage, renaming them all, so I knew which one it was. So when it came to putting a Final Cut Pro, I could just see what each scene was and then put it in numerical order, in chronological order, to make sure that I know where bits are done. And after that, I can then edit it to the point where I'm happy with. Editing was okay. The shots at the time it looks great, but then in post, it kind of didn't work out the way I wanted it to do, but it was okay. It was like, okay, it's fine. I'm not gonna hurt myself or cry over it. What you see is what I get. So I managed to crank out the film in less than 2 days. But I did it. It was possible. Got it out of the way with, and from all this, it was just a learning curve, just how to be a bit more assertive when it comes to certain things, like maybe getting actors, just getting things done more quicker and earlier than later, so that I didn't have to rush it. Because I'm sure if I had more time, I would have been able to produce a better film than I have done. But as a whole, the things that was the shooting went really well. Surprised everyone is just quick, simple, just say this lines, do it a couple of times, get more shots in. They're in. Lighting was the whole setup of the thing went really well. So it's just very simple, just a table, two chairs, and the lights. That was all. It was very simple. The things I would improve on would be getting actors on time, or just being able to recruit people and just get things out of the way, because that was a big deal. Also, what other thing to talk about? I think it was one more really important. But I think it was just that aspect, just being able to try and get people on time to help act out, because without it's just a massive problem. But overall, I think as a final project, it's not the greatest, but it's a learning curve of how not to pace yourself throughout the course. But overall, what you see is what you get. I'm happy with what I managed to produce, and I can't hate it. So, yeah, that is my evaluation for Unit 33 fiction film. Thank you.